Hey everybody, I hope you all are doing well and welcome back to Whiskey Wonders. And fall in the wintertime is one of my favorite times of the year. Not just because the music gets real Christmassy real quick, or finally it cools down enough that we can wear thick sweaters here in California, or even because of the holidays, but because of the fact that this is the time of the year when you get some of the best whiskey gift sets that you're going to get all year long. So today we're going to talk about the top 5 whiskey gift sets that are available right now that you can find for the holiday season that you could get for yourself if you are a bit of a whiskey Grinch, and there's no shame here in that, or for a whiskey lover in your life, or maybe just for someone you can't figure out anything else to get them. Now, before we get to the video, though, if you like these videos, if you like the wanders, if you like the hauls, if you like the reviews, the shorts, and really all the amazing stuff that we got cooking up for you, and we have tons of amazing stuff cooking up for you, don't forget to like and subscribe because it does really help the channel to grow. And again, we are so thankful for that, but also because you get updates when our newest videos come out. All right, now, let's get down to the video. All right, so while we are getting warmed up, let's get a little bit of holiday cheer here and get a glass and do a real quick whiskey check. And today, I think we're going to be enjoying a little bit of, I'm going to do a little bit of this Eagle Rare. It's not, the hardest thing to find, and it's not the most exclusive stuff, but it is 10 years, and it is quite good, especially for the price. So let's give it a turn here, get it evened out on both sides, and see if we can get a pop. Nah, not too bad, not too bad. And get a little bit of juice here. Oh, yeah. And it's a whiskey, because let's face it, you can never really drink too much of it. You can only just drink it too fast. Cheers. Oh, that's good. Better every time. All right, so let's start off with the gift sets. The one that I am most partial to, really for a couple of reasons. First is going to be these Maker's Mark's gift set. I still have one from last year. I still got this one from last year, which was a vertical tasting of 2019, 2020, and 2021 private selections all put together. And I actually didn't really get it last year. I actually bought it this year because they stuck around for quite some time, and I was able to pick this one up at basically half price in August. So if you're patient, you can definitely pick them up because they don't get bought up that much, or maybe they just have a lot of them. But either way, these do end up going on sale. And also the fact that last year it was a vertical tasting, which, I am definitely a sucker for. But this year it seems like they have kind of departed from the normal kind of vertical tasting idea. And they've kind of got more of a hodgepodge of whiskeys. Maybe they had what's left around, in the distillery or what. Because this one actually has a 2023 private selection, which is missing from this one, obviously. It has a 2019 private selection, and it has a Maker's Mark cask strength. So that is a little bit of a difference. So they just kind of cut out one of the years in between. The price on it is very reasonable at $69.99. And I haven't seen this one anywhere outside of Costco as of yet. So I haven't seen it at Total Wine or Bevmo, which is one you actually did find at a couple other places. So maybe it's a Costco exclusive, or maybe, they're all just a little delayed. Each of the bottles in the gift set are, again, 375 milliliters, so they're not going to be the full-size bottles. And the cask strength version is, I think, a nice touch, a nice addition to it, because, every time I drink Maker's Mark, one of the first things that I always think about is, man, this would be way better if it had just a little bit, or a lot of bit, higher ABV. And like most other distilleries, it does seem like the whiskey makers in general are starting to gravitate towards the higher end, lower production side of the market, and I think that cask strength probably fits into that category. But the other interesting thing for this new holiday gift set this year for Maker's Mark is that, again, it has the 19 and the 2023 private selections, and the private selections are also pretty much cask strengths or thereabouts. But the trick to them is that they are aged with different stabs, so pieces of wood that they put into the barrels to kind of bend the traditional Maker's Mark flavor profile to create a bit of a more unique creation. a bit of a cover, if you will. Sort of like listening to Metallica S&M, where it's the songs that you know and you love, but has just enough twist to keep it interesting. So that's the first one I'm going to put on this list, which is the Maker's Mark, a holiday gift set for 2023. And I guess just a professional tip here, a pro tip. If I were you and you were going to get this to drink for yourself, then you could probably wait a couple more months, maybe 6 or 7 months, get into July or August, and you could probably still find these half price. But if you're going to buy it for somebody else and it needs to be like a holiday gift, then still not a terrible deal. And that's the first one on the list, is the Maker's Mark holiday gift set. All right, next up on this list is another one that I think is going to be a personal favorite as far as gift sets go for this year. And it is going to be a little bit of the high-end offering. It's one of my favorite of the new generation of whiskey makers. That is a gift set at Total Wine from Four Roses. And this one, we saw, again, it was not cheap. It was $129.99. But for someone who really loves that kind of sickly sweet, high gravity, new agey taste that you get with Four Roses, it really is a cool set of 10 50 milliliters bottles. And 50 milliliters are basically the bottles you get on the airplane, if you're not sure how big that is. It is a whiskey with a very unique kind of arrangement of mash bills, that is Four Roses. And each of the little bottles that they come in of the whiskeys are going to be unique. They're going to have a unique mash bill from the Four Roses line. Now, one of the interesting things about Four Roses and some of the other kind of cohort of whiskey makers in this generation, things like Barrel Spirit or maybe even like Barton's Discovery, and sometimes Maker's Mark, if we're looking at like the Private Select for their whiskey, is that they blend many, many, many different kind of mash bills of whiskeys all together with so many different variations to get that unique taste flavor profile, which, is all good and fine. I love Four Roses. I'll be the first one to tell you. But the thing is that they want you to know how complex their mash bill blends are, but they also don't want you to know what the actual mash bills are. So they create this weird coded letter system to kind of let you know what is in it and how complex it is without actually letting you know what's in it. But in this gift set, they do give you a chance to try many of each of the different mash bills that they have and compare them and enjoy them and, try to decipher the Byzantine codices that they use to make them. Just as an example, the OBSV mixture is supposed to be a palette of delicate fruit and rye, while the OESK is baking spice heavy, and the OESQ has flavors of grains and floral character. So whether you really have the palette to decipher the OESQ or the OESK from one or the other, one thing is going to be for sure is that all the little bottles have a very healthy ABV. Which is another great thing that I love about Four Roses. All their stuff tends to be kind of on the higher end of ABV, and so am I. So although it is not cheap, you're basically getting 500 milliliters in total of whiskey for $128. You do pay for the full assortment that Four Roses has. And if you're an enjoyer of Four Roses, or anyone who does love Four Roses like yours truly, it definitely is kind of worth that money. Or worst comes to worst, you can always end up playing Whiskey Scrabble, right? So that is the Four Roses gift set from Total Wine. All right, next up is a set which is, again, going to come from Total Wine, and it is going to swerve kind of outside the baseline of bourbon, but it's still whiskey, so we're still playing the same game. But it's going to be a great option for someone who is a Scotch lover, which is another one that we found at Total Wine. It is the Glenlivet 3 full bottle gift set. Now, of course, being full bottles and being Scotch and having a pretty hefty age on them, the gift set is $169.99. But they are again, full-size bottles, and you get a linear set of Glenlivet. And you start with the Glenlivet 12, and then you get the Glenlivet 14, and then finally the Glenlivet 15, which is the oldest in this set. Another interesting aspect of this set is that although they are different ages, each of the age statements have a unique finish on them. So the 12 is double oaked, which means they put it in oak barrels and then they put it back in another oak barrels, usually like younger oak barrels, so they get like a more fortified oakiness. The 14 is aged in cognac cask, which sounds very fancy and definitely is, and it'll give it a bit more of like kind of a rich syrupy sweetness that you get with cognac that you don't always get with Scotch. And lastly is the 15-year-old Glenlivet, which is aged in French oak casks, which are kind of like American oak casks, but exposed to a whole lot more secondhand smoke. So, yeah. So it's a great way to get a survey of the interesting ways that Glenlivet can change when it is finished. But I think an important note about this one, at least to me, is that it's not ideal to have different ages and different finishes, because there are just kind of like too many variables. It's when you start getting, algebra with an X and a Y, there's just too many variables to it that really take away from the ability to kind of discern the difference in the age. So, I mean, it'd be cool if they were just 12, 14, and 15, the same juice, but no finish, or, maybe the same age, but with different finishes. That'd be fine too. So you kind of just narrow down to just one variable instead of two. And my fear is that having tried them, I feel like the finishes would kind of maybe outweigh those subtle nuances that you get just in the age changes, or the difference in the age statement. So that's one side of it. But if you know someone who loves Glenlivet and they like all three of them, then it's still going to be a lot cheaper than if you bought all three of them separate. So that is Total Wine, the Glenlivet 3-bottle set. It's $169.99. And again, a great one for a Scotch lover. Now, next up is, at the number 4 gift set, which we kind of came across this year, which is going to be another of the more kind of new age whiskey makers, which is a bit of an oddity in themselves because it is a whiskey out of Utah, which is not typically known as a hotbed of alcohol production, which is this High West gift set. Now, High West is known for having really great ryes, things like their Rendezvous rye, their Double Rye, and the always hard to get, and especially this year, a very noticeably more expensive Midwinter's Night Dram. This is from the previous year, but it is absolutely delicious and perfect for the season. But they also have a gift set out this year where obviously they must have listened to the comments that I've been putting in their comment books online, because they finally have put together a set that is all whiskey. This year, the cost on it is $89.99. It is 3 bottles, including the Double Rye whiskey, the High West Bourbon, and a special High West Straight Bourbon cask collection that is aged in Cabernet Sauvignon. Now, one of my favorite things about High West, one of the things that has won me over about High West, is that they are willing to take risks. And that doesn't always pan out well. A perfect example is the High West Campfire, which is a mixture of peated Scotch and American whiskey, which, again, I applaud the effort, but it wasn't exactly a slam dunk. But from my experience, their core competency is finished whiskeys and finished ryes, and actually just normal ryes. And I can't speak much to the straight bourbons. I know the Double Rye is great though, and so is the Rendezvous Rye, and of course the deluxe version of the Rendezvous Rye, the finished version, which is Midwinter's Night Dram, is amazing if you can get it. I think the value in this set is that you get some finished bourbons, you get a staple rye, and you get the extra straight bourbon to compare to the finished Cabernet Sauvignon to boot as well. So that is a nice step up. Additionally, because last year they had, I think they had the same bottles. They had the Double Rye and the Rendezvous Rye, but they also included like this kind of jive cocktail pre-made mixers instead of an actual bottle of whiskey. And I don't know, in my mind, that was a bit of bad form for sure. So good on High West. I think this would be a great gift for someone who loves American whiskey, who also enjoys rye, and maybe is a bit set in their ways and could use a little nudge into the beyond section of some of these new, really amazing whiskeys coming out, specifically from High West. So that is the High West gift set. Again, I think another great option for a American whiskey lover, or even a rye lover for sure. Now, last up is going to be a no-brainer if you have a Scotch lover in your family and you want to get them something that is guaranteed that they're going to like, and not really take lots of kind of whiskey risks, I guess, on something that maybe like a High West that you're not sure they would like it or not. If they drink Scotch, they're going to take this and take it with a smile. And even some of the most provocative and intellectual writers in this century, I guess last century too, people like the infamous Christopher Hitchens, although they loved Johnnie Walker Black, they would definitely always accept a Johnnie Walker Blue. So Johnnie Walker, yes, of course, it is the most well-known scotch in the world. And if you've ever had a business partner who needs wooing, a father-in-law who maybe you need to borrow a couple extra bucks from or haven't paid him back, or a husband who just got a promotion, Johnnie Walker Blue is going to be the one that makes a great gift, and even better for the holiday. The whiskey itself is reasonably good, right? It is essentially the Dom Perignon of whiskey, where everyone knows it. It's high luxury, and it's fairly good, and it's not going to knock the socks off of any consummate whiskey drinker, but it definitely, like I said, will bring a smile to their face. That being said, the one that we see here at Costco comes with an upgraded box, and it comes with 2 rocks glasses, and just in case you weren't certain what the normal one looks like this. It's a little plain, right? But it still looks nice even on its own for sure. But the upgraded holiday box obviously is going to be a little bit more frilly, and it has 2 rocks whiskey glass. I know Glencairn lovers, the Glenclarry Mafia is out there coming after me, but the rocks glass is the way to go for me. And also, presumably, with the 2 glasses, it means that they can share it with you. Now, this Johnnie Walker Blue, the holiday edition with the 2 rocks glass, is $189.99, which is about what you're going to pay anyways if you want to get the Year of the Dragon version, which doesn't have the glasses but does have a dragon box. So, that's a toss-up if you like that or not. And I think that just giving this as a gift is always going to be, again, a crowd pleaser, especially with this kind of soft, satiny blue box feel that they have. It's got a bit of creativity, and again, the extra glasses. So I think that if you're going to buy this one for yourself, you can buy it now or you can buy it later. I don't think the price is going to change on it. We haven't really seen those price changes for a while. Johnnie Walker Blue sticks around. It always gets bought eventually. So I don't think there's going to be any price changes on it. Again, I think this is a great one to give as a gift. If you're not really sure what to give somebody, or you have someone who you know likes whiskey, or maybe if they don't like whiskey, I think Johnnie Walker Blue is one of those things that kind of transcends all the different genres for people. So that is the Johnnie Walker Blue gift set with the 2 rocks glass, $189.99. You can find it at Costco. They got it literally by the pallet. All right, so that's it for today's Whiskey Wonders, the top 5 best whiskey gift sets that are available this holiday season that you can get right now. And I really hope that you enjoy this video, and I really hope that you enjoy all of our videos, whether it is the Wonders or the hauls or the reviews or the unbottlings, the unboxings, and really all the amazing stuff that we got cooking up for you, because we have tons and tons and tons of stuff cooking up for you. And if you do, please, obviously, don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit those notifications, because it really does help the channel to grow, and we are so thankful for that, and we're also growing, so thank you for that. But also because you get updates when our newest videos come out. Now, just remember before I go, if you do find a whiskey that you love, just buy it, because if you don't, somebody else surely will. In this case, it might even be me, even though I have to wait till August. All right, everybody, I'm out. Have a great rest of your week, and adios.